What are tonsils?
They're you have them in the back of your throat.
They were taken out.
I had mine taken out when I was little.
Why?
Because I had really bad earaches.
Earaches?
Yep. But they don't take them out like they did back in the day. Back in the day.
But they ripped them out of your mouth.
They didn't rip them out. No. They put you to sleep. And then they
cut open your chest?
They just, you know what? I don't know. No. Because then I'd have a scar. I think that they just, they put your mouth open and then they just snap it. I don't know. And then in your throat, but you know what? Okay, so it hurt when you woke up. But the best thing about having your tonsils taken out was that you got to eat all the ice cream you wanted.
Why?
Because the cold felt good on your tonsils because it was sore. Your throat hurt really bad from getting your tonsils taken out. So they would just give you lots of ice cream. And then there's a thing called mumps. Have you ever heard of mumps before?
What are mumps?
Okay, when your cheeks get big like a chipmunk. Like fat. And I had the mumps when I was little. And I knew that because the man that adopted me, he came in sucking on a lemon and it made my cheeks pucker. And I remember when I was little, it hurt so bad. And I didn't know I had mumps. When you're little, you don't need stuff like that. And there's nothing you can do for that. But now you get shots for measles, mumps, rubella. I had chickenpox when I was little.
You were born in the 1960s, right?
Yeah. Okay, so take a wild guess between 1960 and 1965. Guess the year.
1962?
You are so smart. How do you know that? How do you know that?
I just guessed.
Well, you're smart. Okay, so how old am I?
What do you think?
This is 2018. I was born in 1962.
54?
Oh, you are my favorite grandson, aren't you? No, not 54, but you're off. You're darn close. You're off by 2 years.
56.
Yes.
Well, I was pretty close.
You were extremely close. Extremely. Okay, let me see some of
What do you remember from being a kid besides being adopted?
I hate that part. What do I remember from being a kid? I remember
the fun stuff.
We lived on a block and nobody had a fence. Now everybody's got fences, right? In between the houses. We didn't have any fences. So I could run all through all the backyards.
Now they have fences for the dogs and babies, right?
They got fences for everything.
Not for apartments.
And the guy. Okay, so I remember the guys next door to us. They were gay, and me and my brothers, we were smart. We kind of knew that, and we named them Mama Papa and Papa Papa. Papa was tall, and he was, just straight built, and he always went to work every day. He always left with a hat and a jacket and, a suit and tie and everything. And Mama Papa, he stayed home. He was kind of round, and he always wore an apron, and he wore glasses, and they were really nice. And they had their dog, Skippy. He was trying to get with every dog. He was just...
What do you mean?
I mean, you know what I mean. He was trying to get with every dog, right?
Right.
And they used to have parties, and they used to have...
Wait, were there any, your dogs around?
He would try to get with any dog. That way, he was a tramp. Let's just say that.
What does that mean?
It means that he would screw anything. Okay? Let's just put it like that. But they would have parties, right? Like backyard parties, with lights and everything. And and so after a while, people were putting up fences, and so they, we had a big tall fence, and fences had like little knot holes in them. And me and my brothers would throw the ball over the fence, so they'd have to throw it back over, and we'd poke our little eyes through the peephole so we could see what was going on. But it was fun.
You poke each other's eyes.
No, they were really nice guys. I mean, we were just little kids.
If you touch your own eye, is it bad for you?
If what?
If you touch your eye, will ruin your eyesight.
You shouldn't do that because your fingers aren't always... Just because you wash your hands, you could still have germs on them. Like like little dust particles, and that could hurt your eye. I mean, you do it anyways, but you shouldn't. But you know. Oh, and then on the other side of us, so it was a lady, her husband, and Paul, Carolina, and Laura. I remember that because Paul, he was kind of ugly, and he was mean, and I think it was because he was ugly. He was always getting into fights, and I was learning how to read when I was little, right? I was just learning how to read, and he would take paint, and he would like paint naughty words on the side of the house that we didn't have windows. And phonics is when you learn how to sound out words. And he would like spray paint or paint motherfucker, asshole. And I would go in the house and repeat it. And I would get in trouble. I'd get a spanking or I'd get slapped. Where are you learning how to say those words? I was like, on the house. Oh, they thought I was lying. I'd get spanked and slapped again.
And
Where
then
did you learn how to say those words? I said, on the house. They're written on the house. Because they never went to that side of the house very often. So they had enough with me.
They weren't there on site?
They didn't see it. The people that adopted me, they didn't see it because it was on the side of the house that they never went.
Were those the bad people?
Yeah, those were the bad people who adopted me. And so one day they got mad and they grabbed me by my arm because they thought I was lying.
Why would they kill her? They're just... It's not like they cared about you anyway.
I know. And then they saw the naughty words. And I don't know if they felt bad, but I remember the backyard. The backyard was huge. It was so big, and we had this lilac bush.
Wait, was that rude when they said it's not like they cared about you?
No, that's not rude because it was true. And we had this lilac bush, and I remember my friends would come over to play, and sometimes they lived down the street, and they'd have to go to the bathroom, and the lady that adopted me would never let him in the house because she was just mean like that, right?
Yeah.
And so I would let them pee underneath a lilac bush.
What's a lilac bush?
It's just like a tree, like lilacs. You know, like lilacs are a flower.
Yeah.
And they were afraid that if they ran home, they'd pee their pants and they'd get in trouble. So, oh, you should go potty under there.
Did you tell random kids to do that?
No, if they were playing at my house and they had to go potty, it's like, just go under the bush over there.
Because they weren't allowed in the house?
Yep. And I didn't want them to pee their pants. It's like, just go. But yeah, I remember those were the good times back in the day. And you know, everybody on the block knew each other. We would go across the street and there's this old couple named Mr. and Mrs. Kelly. And we would go have dinner at their house. But people don't really do that so much, I don't think, anymore.
Why?
People were, you know, back in the day, people worked 9 to 5.